Last October, we began an open dialogue on the future of European club football. Since then, we have spoken to nearly 50 European clubs and other stakeholders. The vast majority of them share the assessment that the very foundation of European football is under threat. It is time for change. European club football is at a tipping point. Huge imbalances have emerged across the continent, and clubs with glorious European traditions are no longer able to compete. Clubs bear all entrepreneurial risks, but too often are forced to sit on the sidelines when key decisions are made, and they are watching their sporting and financial foundations crumble. And our discussions have made clear clubs are often unable to publicly speak up against a system where the threat of sanctions is used to stifle opposition. Later this year, the Court of Justice of the European Union will rule on the legality and the compatibility of the UEFA monopoly with the fundamental freedoms, principles and values of the EU. Their decision will impact not only football, but all European sports. Our objective is to present a sustainable sporting project for European club competitions available at a minimum to all 27 EU member states. Today, we present the preliminary results of the first phase of our dialogue, which has been honest, direct and constructive. And there are clear conclusions about the need for change and the building blocks of how to achieve it. We have distilled the consistent feedback into 10 principles, which should set the framework for a future European club competition. Clearly, there is more work to be done, and the dialogue will continue. We are now entering the decisive phase for the future governance of European club football.
Just heard, that's one of the videos that were sent today by the European Super League. Yes, people, the European Super League is back again. I thought we had managed to deal with this craziness, but it just refused to disappear from our eyes. It just refused to disappear from our eyes and what we are doing. So what we are being told is this: the European Super League is back, and they are saying that it's going to become better. They are saying that they're going to be adding a maximum of around 80 teams, which are going to be getting in according to the performance of the teams, and see how that will go. So the first one was meant to only be the bigger players, the big six of the Premier League and some big clubs from any other leagues that were supposed to come in together and just have what they call a Super League, where they were going to be playing football. In the situation of playing football, they were going to eliminate UEFA Champions League. In the process of eliminating UEFA Champions League, it means all the returns were coming straight to the clubs rather than to go to an organization who will actually give them something. Then also on top of that, they wanted to allow this thing, the globalized football, which meant that you might be shocked that Real Madrid versus Barcelona might be played in USA. Or maybe, for example, you might see Liverpool versus AC Milan being played exactly in South Africa. They were just talking about how they wanted to globalize this thing so that it keeps moving around, so that they develop more money. And I even said something like this, that don't be surprised that the airing of these games that are in the European Super League might actually appear in platforms like Netflix, because that's a platform which is going to generate more money, and which means that is a sponsorship that will keep coming to the Super League, because they also wanted to take it away from the TV stations like the Sky Sports and all the other sports channels that we are already used to, which is traditional for us to actually watch football. So now they're saying that they're coming with a much better, much developed, much bigger Super League, which is different from their first idea. And I wonder, why did it became a norm that most of the people worked so hard to remove all other clubs from the Super League. Like I'm talking about the Premier League, all their clubs, it was actually a written document that they had to be out of the club, because the members of the Premier League board, which are the rest of the Premier League clubs, could not allow that nonsense actually happening in their eyes. Because some of them, they still have a dream of actually entering the Champions League. But now with this weird Super League that is there, things were going upside down. So let me explain something that people don't understand. If you have not really been paying attention, football really has changed. That is a fact. Everyone now, they prefer to go play in the Premier League over any other leagues, because they feel, we know and everyone knows, that the bigger competition is in the Premier League. I'm telling you, somebody is willing to leave a team like Barcelona to go play for a team like Leeds United in the Premier League. A bigger team like Barcelona to a Leeds United. And these are some big players. I'm not talking about crazy players. Some players that are playing in the smaller clubs in the Premier League, you will be really, really shocked, because the Premier League has been attracting so many good talents and so many big. Because the fact of the matter is this: Premier League is now the bigger brand. It's now the bigger brand that is able to attract any talent from any parts of the world, because every part of the world watch Premier League. Talk about the Saudi, talk about Africa, talk about even the South America, everywhere they watch the Premier League. And how did they do that? They took time, 30 years, or it's even more than 30 years, of building the brand of football. I think it's around 33 years now of building this amazing, this exciting football that actually attracts players and people to view from far away. So what does this mean? If you open your eyes, you would know that the Premier League is actually the Super League of European football. The Premier League is actually the European Football Super League. They have been the Super League that everyone wants to go play to. They have been the Super League that everyone wants to move on to go play for. Now you might be wondering, so what exactly is this European Super League going to do which is different from this? Oh, now let's talk about it. Imagine you are in a world where you watch Barcelona versus Manchester United on a weekly basis in the middle week. What does this mean? If, for example, let's talk it at the fan point of view. Which game would you want to watch? Southampton versus Manchester United or Southampton versus Barcelona? In terms of excitement of football. And also at the same time, while I'm saying this, as a club, which game are you going to save your best players? Do you think Manchester United will actually play players like Marcus Rashford, Rafa Varane, Lisandro Martinez to play against Southampton, when they know that in the midweek, 3 days later, they're going to be playing in a Super League against Real Madrid or maybe Barcelona, a bigger team? So what does this mean? They are trying by all means to use different techniques to dethrone the bigger superpowers in the football world, which has become custom to, which has become our norm. We are used to watch the Premier League, Champions League. We are excited of these things. They are trying to, their first angle is to attack the Champions League. They're saying that they don't understand this European governing body, but people are gonna fall for it. This is where the problem is. If people fall for it, what's gonna happen? That's where the problem is. That's where the problem now. They are trying by all means to get into a league which they are making up so that they can be able to have a piece of the cake that the likes of Manchester United, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Nottingham Forest are making on a weekly basis because of the Premier League. Every single channel in any different continent always make sure that they have a Premier League. They have a Premier League channel where people can go watch, because that's what has been exciting and which has been the attracting football that people have now actually grown accustomed to and they want to watch. So the purpose of the Premier League, of the Super League, the real main purpose, I want people to open their eyes here. Barcelona, Real Madrid made sure that they sack all the money out of La Liga. So no matter whatever that happens, nobody's gonna go watch Real Betis versus Real Sociedad, because the bigger clubs are getting the bigger piece, which means they are developing their players. As they develop their players, their teams are exciting, so everyone is going to watch Barcelona and Real Madrid in La Liga. Go to Serie A as well. Serie A I'm actually enjoying, because I think that there's now becoming a balance. Juventus is losing and there's now a balance of power, so it means that maybe the football might be exciting. What these big clubs who are from the other side, what they're just trying to do is this: they want to take away the power that the Premier League holds dear, the power that the Premier League now has, which everyone is so attracted to. I open the Football Connect because of the Premier League. I'm doing this in Africa. I'm enjoying this, covering this every single day because of the excitement that I see in the Premier League. They want to take that power from the Premier League. They want to take that power. And I'm not saying that it's bad or whatever. I don't understand. But I'm just saying we have created something good here. And some of us who have made history, our clubs have made histories. I even have made history in my channel now, that there are certain occasions where I've created some videos and what feel like as a fan reacting, which is actually something that I consider as part of my history because of what Premier League is like and what they're capable of. And I don't mind. The Premier League for me is the Super League, and I want it to remain being the Super League because their football is exciting, it's challenging, and it's exciting to the eye. And I would prefer to spend my time watching that rather than watching Barcelona and this every single time. I don't want to find out that my club Liverpool are gonna be resting players like Virgil van Dijk, for example, Cody Gakpo, Darwin Núñez, on a game which is important in the league, so that they go play the European Super League in America. I don't want that. Okay, there's that excitement of getting these people and these players coming to our continents, to our countries on some day basis, like the F1, the way they do it in the F1, but I think let's try to contain, let's try to protect what has been created in Europe. Europe is the best place of football, and I don't want to lose it because some people just feel like they're not getting enough money. Real Madrid feel like they're not getting enough money. They're actually bothered by the fact that now they're competing with teams like Tottenham Hotspurs, teams like Manchester City. You know, Manchester City is a good club, but it's not yet that huge of a club which can compete, for example, with the Real Madrid in terms of the history and what they've achieved. But guess what? Because of how much the Premier League is making, Man City has enough in their bank, even though it's at this moment has been tarnished because of the craziness around the club. But they have enough in that bank to compete against Real Madrid. That used to not happen, you know, when we go back to around the 2003, maybe 1990 somewhere. That did not happen. But the Premier League has worked so well to build this exciting football, which has allowed foreigners from different parts of the world coming together, create this exciting football. And all of us, we have something to talk about when it comes to the Super League, when it comes to the Premier League, because it is our Super League of the Europe, and I don't want to lose that. I just don't want to lose that. And I'm even saying this while I'm in Africa. I don't want to lose that. I wonder how a person who's actually speaking this while he's in England, how they're feeling. I don't want to lose this because I feel like this is important and it has made exciting moments. I would always enjoy watching Tottenham versus Arsenal. That is a big London game, which is always exciting. Even though Tottenham has not achieved anything, but the excitement of the Premier League has brought in that to that point. So it might be hidden right now, talking about 80 clubs, thinking that they're gonna form. The fact of the matter, they wanna take the power of the money, which is now in the Premier League, because many people have actually decided that we're gonna be watching that more than any other thing. So that bothers them. And now look where we are. I'm just hoping that good things are going to be done, and we, the fans, are not going to be fooled, actually going to make good decisions to keep the Premier League as the superpower of European football. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I just want to hear my point of view and why I feel like this weird Super League that they keep talking about is a terrible idea. We'll see. Do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the Connect. Let me know the best moments that you've had. They are trying to turn the Premier League into, for example, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, where teams actually selected the player that goes play there, so that because they have a bigger game that they have to play. Is that the world you want to live in? I don't even want to imagine it. I'm out, people.
Beats the goalkeeper. You're just lost for words. He is just brilliant. Georgie Best, Diego Maradona, Johan Cruyff.